And welcome to the Dark Side of Soul podcast. This is Joe.
This is Sean.
We are on episode 3 of our 4-part series on serial killer Yoo Young-chul, murder addict. Just to catch us up, remind what we were talking about before. He grew up in the Gongdok, Aoge area, Mapo, southwestern Seoul. Started out as in and out of jail a lot as a thief. He liked to pose as a policeman a lot and arrest pornographers and extort money from them. He got married, but wife left him after he raped a teenager and went back to prison. And she was like, he's in and out of jail too much. So she left him and took the son with her. He got released. He wanted revenge on his wife, but decided to go for surrogates instead. And he started murdering wealthy old people in their homes with a homemade hammer, which was a sledgehammer with a short handle on it. But when he was almost caught by CCTV, he had a little gap time, and he was dating what you could say was a massage parlor lady, and he wanted her to marry him, but she found out about his criminal record and his previous marriage, and she didn't want to have anything to do with him. He was really upset and decided to kill women in her profession, in which he killed quite a few. This was all happening between 2003 and 2004. We left off with his final victim, Im Mi-yeon, in July 13th, 2004. What he was doing, he was murdering women in his own office tell, and I did track down the office tell. It's on the map on the website at darksideofsoul.com/podcast. I have a map I've tracked down a lot of things where some of the houses were, where his office tell was, and where he buried the bodies. He wanted to have it in his place because he had control over that environment. It was on the second floor above a fermented skate restaurant, so you know there was going to be privacy there.
For anyone who hasn't had that, they may not get the joke.
yeah, it's quite smelly.
It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. And so what he did was he was calling these bodobang. And he thought he was being really smart by changing his name and calling different numbers of different bodobang all the time, so no one would catch a pattern on anything. Unfortunately, these bodobang tend to be run by gangsters, and they kind of think like him too, and they don't want to be caught. So they register their businesses with different phone numbers and different names.
Right.
So the past few times, Yoo Young-chul was calling the same business and he didn't know it. And the business he called was owned by a Mr. No, who was a gangster, running a bunch of shady companies under different names and numbers. And on July 13th, he sent Lee Mi-yeon, who was 27, from Shilimdong, sent her out for the job, and he had not heard from her again. And it was strange because he thought maybe she had been kidnapped. And he noticed this was the third time a woman had gone missing that he knew of. And he noticed that they were all answering calls that ended in the number 6523. Now, I'll tell you this right up hand. I've read different accounts. so many different accounts of this, and this is a hybrid of everything I've put together. Some of the accounts say the number was 6523. Other ones say it was 5834. I know, not a big deal, so I'm just going to stick with 6523 because it works with the story.
Be consistent.
Yeah. So Mr. No contacted the owners of other bodobang, and he found out a woman from Gangnam was also missing after a call from 6523. And he figured out that the number 6523 belonged to the phone of the mother of Yoo Young, who was 28, who had disappeared on June 25th. And she was also one of Yoo's victims. So whoever this was, he stole her phone. That's what they were saying. So he told the other owners to call him if anyone with that phone number called him. And while he was doing this, he also contacted an Inspector Yang from the Mobile Investigation Unit. Now, Mr. No knew Inspector Yang because he met him while Inspector Yang was conducting a drug investigation 4 years before. That's how you know. You make your contacts.
Go back and listen to our episode about drugs.
Yeah.
On that note.
So this is kind of a transcript kind of the call. Mr. Yang, Mr. No calls Inspector Yang. He says, Hyung, brother, what are you doing these days? It works, man. I'm going on summer vacation next week. Are you okay too? Yeah. By the way, brother, 2 days ago, a woman from the bodobang in Yeongdepo went out to receive guests and then lost contact. And then said Mr. No's next words were firmly lodged in Inspector Yang's ears. The car I borrowed from a friend was abandoned in Hwaguk-dong with the ignition on. Now, this was connected to, I think this was connected to a little bit before he went on his new murder spree where he had handcuffed a woman and her pimp to a car. I think it's related to that one. But anyway, there have been a history of people kidnapping escorts and selling them to the countryside. So Young thanked him for that, and it kept him in his mind. He went to bed, and it just stuck in his mind. A little time later, July 15th, around 2 a.m., Mr. No receives a call from 6523. So he contacted his seniors and colleagues. He contacted Inspector Young and said, Young, 6523 is out. So Mr. No and 4 of the pimps, they piled into a car with Mr. No, I'm counting. I think it's 5 people total, so it would be like Mr. No, 3 pimps, and the woman they brought in as bait, piled into a car. Like I said, he had contacted Inspector Young, told them they went down to the station. They talked to the Inspector Young, and they headed off to Sinchon Rotary. The woman they split up a bit. The woman was by herself in a taxi going out to Sinchon Rotary, and the rest were in 3 cars following the taxi. They were supposed to meet up at the Sinchon Grand Mart, which still exists. So the men were waiting in a nearby alley, and 6523 called, and he changed the meeting place to a park 20 minutes away by foot. So Inspector Young said, okay, I'm going to go to this park. Then 6523 called again and complained that he saw the woman and that she was too tall, because was very specific about his victims, because he didn't want women who were too chubby because they were too heavy to dispose of, and he didn't like women who were too tall because his bathroom was really small and they were too tall and awkward to cut up in his bathroom. So he complained that she was still too tall. So 6523 proceeded to call other bodobang. So while he was doing this, Inspector Young was running around parks and alleys, just grabbing men who were talking on their phones and checking what their phone numbers were. And since Sinchon is kind of an entertainment district, there were a lot of them. And it was a hot night. It was like 30 degrees Celsius, which is around, was it 85 degrees at night at 2 in the morning. And I remember that. Hold on, this is 2004. Yes, that was a very, very hot summer. In fact, I was looking at the records at the time, and summer 2004 was the hottest summer Seoul had on record since I've been here.
2004 was really?
Yeah.
I remember 2016, 2018 was also really hot.
Yeah, but officially
2004
was the hottest one.
This was in July as well, right? And not even really the hottest month, really.
No, I remember August, because that's when I had my first summer vacation, 1 week vacation. I was going to celebrate with my friend, and we were going to go out drinking at night. And it was nighttime, and he called me and said, "Joe, let's go meet." And I get out and I walk 1 block, and this is at night, and I go, "It's too hot." And I walked back home. I said, "No, I'm not going out tonight."
You're from the South.
I know. It was too hot at night to go out. I'm not doing this. Mm-hmm. So Mr. No found a suspicious man talking on a phone behind a power pole in the alley. He contacted Inspector Young, and Young says, I'm too far away to make it in time. So he said to ask the nearby patrol unit to help. So the Bodobang men approached the man talking on the phone. Yeah, let's see. What was I saying? Okay, so Yoo was calm. I'm looking at my notes because I got it all over different places. So Yoo was calm when they started searching him. Bampal ipum samyeo, irilo kasoyo. Yeah. Anyway, they thought that maybe that Yoo was just an accomplice, and he started to resist a bit. And so they did have a police unit with them, and they were trying to handcuff him. Young then rushed in. They put him on the ground and they handcuffed him. They put him into a car. And this is where it's kind of confused, because some of them say they handcuffed him, others say they doesn't. I kind of have a feeling if they handcuffed him, they didn't put the hands behind him. They put the hands in. They cuffed him with his hands in front. If they did.
Yeah, I think I heard. This is more linked to our final episode on Yoo next time. One of the urban legends. I heard that. I remember back in the day, they said, "Oh, the cops." Or they bungled that and they cuffed him in the front. That's what I remember at the time. Now I don't know if that's true. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they got him into the car, and while he was there, he put something in his mouth and started chewing it, and they thought it was pills, and he was trying to kill himself. And so 10 minutes, there was a scuffle in the back of the car trying to get him to open his mouth, and they were beating him. And one man got 2 spoons and pried his mouth open. That's like something Mo would do in the Three Stooges.
I think that's something Mo has done in the Three Stooges.
Yeah, as I'm thinking of. Or actually what Steve Martin's character did in Little Shop of Horrors when he was the dentist.
Right.
or in Scrivello. Oh my God, how do I remember that name? So he retrieved 9 business card size Bodobang massage flyers. And when he retrieved that, a phone fell on the floor, and the last 4 digits were 6523.
Busted.
Yeah, they say he got pretty bloodied up, so that later on he was wearing mask in public because they said his face got bloodied up from that moment. The men started interrogating him in the car. The pimps started interrogating him. Later on, the agency officials, the police officials, when people started accusing the police of bungling it all up, and that the pimps actually caught the serial killer. They said it's true. They said to the press, it's true that the massage parlor people caught Mr. Yoo first, but it isn't. But isn't it also true that we sent our man? It's like, shouldn't we get credit for being there?
We do something too. I was there. I was there too.
We watched it happen. So they went to the Sogang District Police Box in the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency's Mobile Investigation Unit, which is now the Metropolitan Investigation Unit. At the time, they really didn't think much of him. He was being treated as a thief, like a phone thief, and a possible kidnapper. And at this time, he was faking a limp to trick the police into letting their guards down. Kind of a usual suspects type of ploy he was doing. And I told you guys to pay attention to this when we were doing the first episode. He kind of did this. I think it was back in '99 when he was arrested and brought to the hospital. He faked it when he did something like this when he was caught with raping that teenager.
Right, and that's pretty common. Like Ted Bundy did that, pretended his arm was broken to help. He's trying to get a boat or something into the back of his, or on the top of his car, or in the back of a van or something, and he would, to lure women to help him move something heavy.
Yeah. The only possessions on him at the time were the phone, one of his victims' avatar watch, and a wallet with 1,800 won and a trinket. I think this is the ankle bracelet he got from another woman. When asked about the phone, he said, "Oh, I picked it up," and later said, "I got it out of a car when the window was open 2 days ago." Now, when they got to the station, the men from the massage parlors stuck with him. And this is kind of funny. I kind of think it's funny. It's like they allowed these men to be involved in the investigation a bit. And they were keeping him before they put him into an actual interrogation room. And they were still investigating him. But you realize that the men who caught him weren't police. Right. But they did stay there. Those guys did stay there for 3 days participating in the investigation. The massage parlor men were also the ones who verified that he had a history of impersonating police officers. And so they did talk about one of them was involved in the February 9th incident where he extorted money and handcuffed the woman and the pimp to the car. There was also a 50 million won award for the arrest of the Hyewadong killer, which they later find out he was. But do you think they actually gave out that award? They did give out 5 million won each to 5 people, and the woman who acted as bait didn't get anything.
Jeez, it's awful.
Yeah,
she should have gotten the highest reward.
Yeah, she should have. And the police were doing everything they could to cover up that the Bodobang owners played such a significant role. It was really such an embarrassment.
Of course they. Yeah. And I remember all that too. It was really. It was as if the police, because that was right on the time. Like I was saying, last episode or maybe the first episode. Yeah. In this series, how the police were really at this time trying to change their image, and that's when they started having their really cutesy mascots and stuff like that. I can't remember if it was this series or previously. I was talking about that.
The kinder, gentler police with the running through the fields with dandelions in their mouths. Right,
and black licorice guns.
And just think about it. All steps of this way. If it was just the police involved, he would have still been out there,
or caught, or caught much later and murdered far more people.
Yeah. He was interrogated by Namgu Jong and Kang Dae-won. Yoo Young-chul was asking, "Who are you looking for?" And they said, "Where did you sell it?" And he said, "If it's a kidnapping case, it's not me." And they said, "Well, then what are you?" And he said, "Me? I killed." And they said, do you think this kid is playing a joke? Because they really thought he was joking, and he was trying to act like he was joking. And so he did this as a joke just to confuse everyone and get them off kilter. And then they found the golden cord that was the anklet from one of his victims, and they said, where'd you get this? And he goes, oh, I bought it for 1,000 won over in Cheonggyecheon. It's just for decoration. And he says, hey, can't you see this? It says 18 carats. Isn't this what women wear? If this is really worth 1,000 won, go buy one for me. Let's buy 100 of them and so make a lot of money. Now, thanks to you, I will quit the police and be like Bonkim Sondal. At Captain Kang's interrogation, Yoo Young-chul bowed his head and he thought, now this guy is going to burn. It took more time for the real owner. It took a while for them to really start figuring out his criminal record. And that's when they said, and a really unexpected word came out of his mouth. He said, I'll explain the anklet later, and I'll tell you with the Shinsadong murder case. And we went, what? And he goes, yes, I killed 26 people, from an elderly couple in Shinsadong last September to a woman in a Bodo Dabang who disappeared 2 days ago. I'll confess to all the crimes. Just give me an hour. Please call my mother. Then they let him call his mom, and he said on the phone, Mom, I killed a lot of people. Then he had an epileptic fit around midnight.
Again?
Yeah. So they removed his handcuffs, and he started calming down a bit, and he suggested going down to Bongwon-sa Temple to dig up the remains. He was going to show them where it was. And so they said, okay, well, we need to go to this other room to set this up. So they're on the second floor, and he walks with the detectives down the hallway, and he escapes. Easily escaped the police station.
Just like Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Just jumped from a window. I'll say quick, Joe, before you continue, just quickly, where that interrogator said, I'll quit the police force and be like Kim Sun-da.
Yeah,
that's a character in an old novel.
Oh, okay.
And he's like he sells a river. He sells people a river. I can't remember the premise of the story completely. I think it's the Taedonggang, and he sells off the river to people. He's a swindler. It's a story of a okay. like a shark.
We need to do that sometime. We need to talk about those types of stories. I think that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't really go that far. He goes to his house and destroys the evidence. And at 1 a.m. calls his mother and sister to go to his house and clean up. They want them to clean up his house. The police couldn't find him because he had the wrong address on his ID.
Well, geez, I'm stuck. Let's go sell a river. Let's quit this police gig and sell a river.
Yeah. So they start searching the area thoroughly. I've made a note that the detective Sang-jun Kim is currently the head of the intelligence team at Yongsan Police Station. At one of my sources I was reading, he might have changed since then. So Yoo Young-chul goes to a motel near Yeongdeunpo Market, and he bought 360 sleeping pills, doxylamine, at a pharmacy. Now, police say he was planning to commit suicide, but they're speculating that even you knew that you couldn't commit suicide with those types of pills. Though at worst you can just get a bad case of diarrhea.
What is it called? Doxylamine? I've never heard of that.
I think it's doxylamine.
Doxylamine? Yeah, I've never heard of that. It's a type of sleeping pill.
Doxylamine makes sense too. Yeah. So around 11:40 p.m., a mobile patrol team recognized Yoo Young-chul at a crosswalk at the runabout in between Yeouido and Yeongdeunpo stations. In front of, well, at the time was Brothers Pharmacy, Yeongdeunpo Dong Samga. And they got him and they arrested him. And this was 11 hours after he had escaped.
I just checked quick. Yeah, doxylamine is an antihistamine.
Doxylamine.
And sometimes used to treat sleep problems. So yeah.
Yeah.
Would have given himself a bad belly.
So he was rearrested, reinterrogated. He talked about with the women he murdered. He would talk with them for an hour before killing them about their personal lives. He would regularly force them to leave strange messages from their phones about quitting or being kidnapped. Now, officially, this is where they started the accounts are really mixing up. Some of them said that he had sex with the women. Others said he didn't because for fear of leaving DNA. He did with one, at least with one of them. He kept changing his story many times. He confessed to killing 26 people. He said he kept a diary on his computer, but police never did find it. Using, remember his passcode was 1818 and his username was 1818 because,
right.
The guy was such a genius. He went on a hunger strike. Experts believed this is when he was slowly awakening from his fantasy state, because a lot of these serial killers, they're in this fantasy world when they're doing their killing. Then he started bragging about his crimes. The apartment was searched. The media noted how clean and orderly it was. I'll have pictures of this on our website. And this is what I found strange is, yes, the media was allowed inside his apartment on July 19th, just 4 days after he was arrested. I mean, do you think, are they finished with the crime scene by then? That's a crime scene.
Oh.
And the media was allowed to come in with their cameras and just move stuff around.
Tramps around. Yeah, bizarre.
And you notice too in the pictures, I mean, the jacket, it's a small one room, but still, he had jackets and dress shirts all neatly organized. He had a potted plant and a fish bowl. They noted he had a bit of OCD. And he only made the bathroom was the threshold of death. All the rest of the parts of the apartment was not supposed to have anything death related in it. There was a black scrapbook on his bed that had newspaper articles and personal notes, random stuff about furniture, luxury cars, computers, pop music, just like things he clipped out of magazines and just obsessively neatly put in there and notated. I mentioned before he had a sketchbook with a lot of they would say really good quality sketches in there, because he was an artist, a colorblind artist. And if he was allowed in art school like he wanted to be, there were movies, DVDs, likely pirated DVDs that were found on his computer desk, including the Korean film Public Enemy, Gongonggi Chok from 2002, which was kind of a cat and mouse film between a detective and a serial killer who kills people after minor slights, including killing his own parents. A Hollywood film, Very Bad Things from 1998, which I do not remember at all, but there were a lot of famous people in this.
Yeah, I remember that. That was Cameron Diaz, Christian Slater.
Yeah,
he's on the poster. He's holding a chainsaw.
Yeah,
on the front. Yeah,
but it did include prostitutes, strippers, and a security guard, and dismembering people and burying them in the desert. The main character, a character faked a limp.
Yeah, it's a black comedy. Yeah,
yeah. Roger Ebert's review was, "It's not a bad movie, just a reprehensible one." I miss that guy. He also had a movie called The Normal Life from 1996. In which a cop falls in love with a psycho and marries her, loses his job, and robs banks to appease her. So this might have helped define his fantasy world a bit.
I don't know that movie at all. Yeah. Interesting.
And the interrogations, there are little details of a few gruesome moments. While he was taking care of one of the women. He placed her severed head on the towel rack while she was like she was watching him do all this. There's one time when the headless body fell on top of him. He said that the most terrifying moment was while he was in the middle of doing this, his phone rang and it was his son. And the son asked him, have you recovered from your cold yet, Dad? And it was like he was saying, or I found different accounts like he literally said this, or it sounded like he was saying this. He sounded like he was saying, Dad, I know everything. Don't do that. And so Yoo Young-chul thought his son knew what he was doing, and that gave him the chills. And so he took a break from butchering his victim and ate some noodles, ate some ramen. Oh, he ate rice instead of ramen. Sorry. He didn't even clean up the body, so he ate rice instead of ramen. Now, the big rumor was he claimed that he ate the livers of his victims. He said in order to cleanse his spirit, he ate some of the internal organs from the bodies of 4 of his victims. But there hasn't really been any evidence of this. I don't know how you would find evidence of this, but I mean, if he was going to cook it, there's no evidence of anything on the pots and pans.
Yeah, and I think the bodies may have been decomposed enough by that time where they would not have been able to do autopsies on them and
they wouldn't have been able to verify that. Yeah.
No.
But it is like, he thought maybe it could help cure his epilepsy. And he was just worried he just feared death. That was one thing. He feared death because, his father was killed by a drunk driver and his brother committed suicide. But yeah, he said among the people I killed, 6 bodies don't have some internal organs. I have bronchus disease, so I asked the people their blood types. If their blood type was O, because he was type O blood, he ate their internal organs. After he read some traditional medicine books, he ate other organs out of curiosity. He also said he ground the bodies in a mill, but he later figured out he felt it was unnecessary. And he didn't like chopping the bodies in silence, so he chopped it while listening to music, specifically the soundtrack to the Gerard Depardieu movie 1492, written by Vangelis. Vangelis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if anyone remembers that movie, I remember that was a big deal in 1992 because it was like, wow, 500 years since that happened.
Yeah.
So anyway, there was no mill, no mixer, no blender found. Now, some people say he might have just grown tired of this and he threw everything away, but there was nothing found. And also, there is a history of serial killers eating the body parts. We talked about the Jijeon family. They ate body parts to increase their courage. One investigative officer said that Yoo Young-chul said he tried to drink the brain water, but it said it tasted too fishy. Yeah, but people said, he was trying to just create a myth around him. He was quoted as saying, "I hope that my notoriety will be widely known by mobilizing people's imagination for what I actually did. I want to be recorded as a hero in the criminal world."
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like some people want to be rock stars. Like, I want to go down in history as a great musician, a great rock guitarist. And then other people want to be serial killers, infamous for villainy. It's weird.
So the number 26 is still questionable. He ended up being convicted of less than that, but some possible evidence pointing that he might have killed more. There were 2 unidentified bodies that were highly decomposed in the area. It was also speculated that we talked before where he was traveling around Busan and Gwangju during his gap period. He might have committed some murders at that time because he did return with some jewelry that he gave to his girlfriend that he said came from a shopping bag that was lying around. And some say there might still be some more bodily remains around Bongwon-sa Temple. The media circus following the arrest that was the top news at the time. His first quote to the press was, "I hope that women do not act recklessly and the wealthy are awakened." Or I used to there was another quote that said something like, "The rich need to pay for what they've done and women shouldn't be sluts."
Right. And I heard it as, women are whores. I heard it said before.
He wasn't the most eloquent of serial killers.
No. Right. And something like the wealthy have to understand their place in society, something like that. But it's all kind of basically along the same lines.
Yeah, and he was just doing this for show, because back at Yeongdeunbo prison where he was being held at the time, he asked the guards if he looked good on television. And he was bragging to them that he knew that the National Assembly was talking about abolishing the death penalty, so he wouldn't be executed.
Yeah.
And within a week, there was an internet fan club called Coolest Murderer Yoo Young-chul Cafe.
Gosh.
But it got popular because people were joining the site just to leave insulting messages to the owner.
Oh. Well, that's good.
More on the media circus. One time while the police were transporting Yoo Young-chul, a bereaved family member approached him and attacked him. This turned out to be the 50-year-old mother of Miss Jong, who was the mother of the Imundong victim. She said, "I am the mother of the Imundong victim. My daughter would not be dead if you guys had captured that man earlier." And then she went after them with an umbrella as a weapon, and one of the detectives, who didn't know who she was, kicked her down a flight of steps in the chest.
Kicked her in the chest, yeah.
Like, you never see that Taekwondo fighting. He was doing a little roundhouse kick on her. Yeah, it made a loud noise when she fell.
And an elderly woman. Like, she wasn't a young, strong, strapping young woman. She was a grieving, bereaved elderly mother. Yeah. Fucking cops, man.
Well, while the police were trying to change their image.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah.
The police excuse was, at the time, the officer was holding you with both hands, and when the woman came running out from the photographer line, he used his feet to restrain her. He did not intend to inflict violence. Other escorting officers claimed that they overheard someone from Fuji TV, the Japanese TV, setting it up, because, it's got to be the outsiders, the evil foreigners that are setting this up.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, they wanted Ms. Jung to run up and remove Yu's hood. He was being, they were trying to protect his identity at the time.
Right. Like, I should point out, like, we never knew what these people looked like at the time. Their faces were never shown. It's only been recently that we can see the faces of a lot of these killers, and they come out of
and runners of these porn cafes. These
Yeah, so they're starting to show the faces of these high-profile killers now, criminals now, just recently.
Yeah. So, because the public good outweighs the right to face in this instance. They apologized to Ms. Jong and her husband, and they said the officer would face disciplinary measures. The very sad thing of this is, in the end, he was not convicted of that case. There was someone else did that, the Imundong murder.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Let's talk about the trial a bit. He was indicted on charges of sexual violence, rape and murder, abandonment, fleeing, burning of a vehicle, and concealing of a body. After his first hearing, he said he'd refused to return to court. And then he turned to the audience behind him and said, "I would like to apologize to the victims for what I've done. I am sorry." He had boasted that he had no intention of stopping and he was just beginning. Then he returned to court 2 weeks later and he recanted this confession about his confession about the Imundong case, because he said he was coerced into it by a promise from the police that they would help send his son to university. Which I think that was true that they did that.
It's possible, like you know, like the coercion. I'm certain coercion still happens, so I wouldn't be surprised. This is almost 20 years ago, so the judge said he needed to return for another hearing, and he said, "You forced me to appear at the next trial. I'm not saying that I will think about it again, but I'm saying that I will not appear next time." And the judge said, "It's not your choice to make." And he was moving to adjourn when you jumped over his seat and ran to the judges, jumped onto a desk and climbed the bench. Then he slipped and fell like a clown. Even more. Okay, keep doing it because we have the soundtrack. 20 officers and guards barely got to him in time. 20. What were they doing? He was only handcuffed. He wasn't in shackles. He was only handcuffed, despite his history of escaping. Yeah.
So when he attacked the judges jumped out of their seats and they didn't sit back down until he was dragged out of the courtroom by 20 officers. What were these guys doing? What were they thinking?
How can you even get 20 officers on a single person? Like, there's not enough space.
Yeah, but I mean, they can't even use the excuse that they were playing on their smartphones. There weren't smartphones back then. So
they can. So the cops can kick an elderly bereaved mother down a flight of steps, but they can't. One guy can do that, but 20 of them can't hold this waste of skin back. Jeez.
And they couldn't anticipate any of this.
Yeah,
no precautions taken.
Useless.
So there was an October 4th hearing. He didn't show. Then day before, he tried to commit suicide. He left two suicide notes, just in case they couldn't find the other one, and tried to hang himself with electrical wire from the wall fan of his cell, and the guard stopped him. I really have a feeling he was not serious. He was doing this all for show. 2 suicide notes. Yeah. One official at the Seoul prison said that Mr. Yoo was adamant that he did not want to appear in court, so we could not force him.
That's like a shitty parent saying, it's like, "Oh, my kid's not going to go to school today because they don't wanna."
Yeah, we can't force him to go. Very different from what the judge said. The mixed messages. The judge says he didn't have a choice, and then no, you had a choice. Couldn't go. So 21 days later, October 25th, there was a hearing. He did show up this time. He tried to attack a spectator who heckled him. 10 guards broke it up, so maybe they're getting a little efficient about this now.
Oh, they're twice as good now. Twice as good at their job.
In the process, 2 wooden chairs were damaged, so I guess it was like WWE. And then he ended up signing a statement that he would stop acting up before being brought in, because signing a piece of paper will make sure that he'll behave.
Right. I wonder if that would have worked if they just said, "Here, sign this paper to promise you won't kill anymore."
Okay. And then he came in and he looked at the victims' families and he said, "They were not normal women. They deserve to be caught by me." He was really setting it up. He really wanted to be infamous. In the end, he was found guilty of 20 murders and other crimes like theft and all that. But we said he was not found guilty of the murder of Lee Moon-dong. Just pointing out that Lee Moon-dong was murdered on February 6, 2004, which was the very day I landed in Korea. I have an alibi. Yeah, later it was revealed it was another serial killer, Jong Nam-gyu. And this is, we want to explore, now that I've been studying this, I kind of want to explore this more. What was it with the string of serial killers during this period of the mid-aughts?
Yeah, we talked a bit about that last time in the last episode. So, yeah, something maybe to look into and explore for a future episode.
So,
what's going on?
Yeah, December 13th, 2004, while he was looking the judge in the face, he was sentenced to death. And then 6 months later, in June 2005, the death sentence was upheld by the highest court in the land, the Korean Supreme Court. The government compensated the families up to 10 million won each. Yeah, whatever. I mean, they could have, they couldn't use some more of that Haewadong fund, for it's like, where did that money go? Who? Yeah. That's where there might be a crime there. It's like, did they have that money in escrow? Was it sitting there and waiting, and someone might have embezzled it, or they just promised the reward and that they thought maybe they would have a car wash to raise the funds for that? I don't know. Well, they did this because in 1988, a law was passed promising the government would compensate families for crimes if the criminal is unable to compensate. Because this is something still embedded in the legal system, is this blood money culture. This thought that you should pay victims for crimes, not for civil suits, but for crimes, which is unsettling to some Westerners, especially rape victims, when there was one case where there was I think it was a Canadian or Australian woman who was raped, and the perpetrator's family offered her some blood money to drop the case, and she resisted that it goes to trial, and the judge acted like she was being unreasonable for not accepting the blood money.
Yeah, we talked about that as well in the previous episode. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, but I don't expect everyone to remember everything we say on every episode.
Right.
Even Angel won't even remember that.
Angel's like, yeah, I can.
All right, and you sounded just like her when you said that.
I do a good Angel.
But it also includes if the state shall provide benefits to victims as it is responsible for not properly protecting the safety of its citizens. And it also includes that the police can't identify the criminal. So if we can't protect you, we're going to pay you. So today, how they do it in the movies, skip to today, Yoo Young-chul is currently in the Seoul detention center. As of this recording, but it won't be that by the time this is released. That is where Samsung Air Lee Jae-young was being held. Same detention center. He's being released this week as we're recording this.
And Park Geun-hye, that's where she is as well.
I knew one of her someone that was involved with her was there. I didn't know she was involved too.
I'm pretty sure she's there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Im Young-pak. I think he's in Jeonju, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, but yeah, that was Seoul Detention Center. Yeah, that's also where
we should create a tour of all the prisons our ex-presidents are in. Where they committed suicide. Okay.
Oh boy.
To this day, he shows no remorse for his crimes. He has a tendency, like a child, to blame others for his actions. According to one profiler, he's arrogant in most of his interviews. See, like I said, he keeps acting like he's the most intelligent person in the room. He reigns as king in prison, and you hear they kind of enable him. When he first entered the cell, he looked at fellow inmates and he declared, "I will surely kill one gangster and one economic offender and be executed." And hearsay is one of the gangsters just went back and said, "Well, I'll get you, Yoo Young-chul." There are always 4 or 5 guards around you to prevent any of these altercations between him and the gangsters, because there's a target on him from the gangsters.
Sure. Yeah. Especially if he's...
They have a code. The gangsters have a code.
Especially if he was going into prison and doing that. But he's a coward, so he's not... he's not going to try to kill like these tough gangsters, and they have their own cliques. He's not going to do that. He's just he was doing that to give himself some sort of position where he's showing, he's puffing up his chest. Yeah, so.
he was doing basically a Kim Jong-un thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just trying to act like he's the big guy when he really doesn't have that much power. But he does intimidate the prison guards. He says stuff like, "Don't you know I'm a psycho?" Or he'll say, "Even if I kill you, I'm already sentenced to death." Other stupid childish behavior, like he destroys flower gardens. And I'm not sure this was lost in translation. He was snatching the toupees off of guards. Go. I mean, this totally just pissy Three Stooges.
It's like Benny Hill.
Yeah. Supposedly he did start a prison riot when in November 2014. It was found that he was smuggling some Japanese manga and porn and giving bribes to guards. I don't know how you bribe a guard when you have no money. He only had $1,800 won in his wallet. I don't know how he's bribing guards. So yeah, he started a riot when he was caught. 2010, reestablishing the death penalty was reviewed by the Minister of Justice. Violent serial killers were the key focus, and Yoo was the key example for the ministry's review, and the review was abandoned.
Yeah, and go back and listen to our episode Off With Their Heads, which is about execution in Korean history, and then we talk about modern executions as well. So go back and have a listen to that. It's a good episode.
The present day, I did get really obsessive in tracking things down on a map. Took a lot of sleuthing. So I did track down where his office still was. Most everything has been torn down. Any part of this person's whole crappy life has been removed from existence. There is a new building in its place. The hospital parking lot where he killed Mr. An has been demolished, and the parking lot and the hospital have been demolished. His original Nogo-sandong office tower has been demolished, but the Nogo-san Public Security Center, which used to be the Nogo-san police box, is 30 meters away. So he was doing all this, and he was just 30 meters away from the police doing this. But a merchant who runs a supermarket nearby still says that even now, just the name of Yoo Young-chul comes out. Even though years have passed, the shock still has totally shocked that area. The terrain around Bongwon-so Temple, I went and checked it out a good bit on the maps. It's changed a lot. He did bury a lot of the body parts behind a charcoal sauna. The charcoal sauna buildings still exist, but they've changed the name. That's also on your map. And I think that's it for now. This is what we have. And that's...
Yeah. And he's still in prison. He's at the time that we're recording at night, fairly late. It's probably lights out at the prison. So
it's definitely lights out.
Yeah. So he's he's just in the prison right now. He's maybe asleep, or he's looking at his Japanese porn or whatever under a smuggled in flashlight.
Yeah. Whatever.
So, nasty.
Listener mail.
Yeah. So we do have listener mail. Not exactly mail, but we heard about one of our new fans in Florida, in the United States, Mr. George Sheriff. So, Mr. Sheriff, your granddaughter, Allison, is a friend of ours, and she let us know that you're listening. So we just wanted to say thank you. We're
thank
happy
you.
Happy you're enjoying the show, all the episodes and everything. And we'll continue making episodes going into the future, and we hope you like all those as well.
Oh my goodness, it will be hurricane season when this is published.
Oh,
I'm from that area, so yeah, it'll be hurricane season. Yay! Stay safe.
Newfoundland is starting to get cold. I think by the time where this is published, yeah.
Okay.
Labrador would probably
the one snow. Warm day has passed. Okay.
Yeah. First day of summer.
So anyway, participate. Join us on our Patreon, and participate on our our Facebook page at facebook.com/darksideofsoul. Our Instagram, we also have Dark Side of Soul on Instagram. It's quite active. Sean tells stories on our Instagram.
Oh yeah. I've just started doing that about a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
These are great. It's folk
just
tales.
Posted one today. Just posted one today. Yeah. So they're long though, a lot of them. So I tend to have to do them in parts, but people are like, oh, okay, I can't wait for the next part.
Yeah, I think that's great. The serial storytelling on Instagram is quite cool.
Yeah.
So to give you an idea, we are going to do one more episode, even though we have approached pretty much done soup to nuts on Yoo Young-chul, from his early life to his killing to his trial and prison. But there's a lot more to be talked about, because now we need the now that it's over, the part where you kind of analyze what the hell happened.
Yeah, the wind down.
We're going to talk about the urban legends, the movie, the media that's been made about him, the stuff that I found in psychological and psych papers, the stuff online I found. People were studying him and finding out how this fit into Korean society, because there are those of you true crime fans know that it's a whole field of study, is this type of murder addiction. I don't even like to call it serial killer, because that makes it sound like they're a predator. I really kind of just sound like they're a sad victim. I mean, not a sad victim, but sad. They have an addiction. It's a murder addiction. And how this follows a few of the tropes of murder addiction, but what made it have a Korean flavor to it. And we're going to discuss all that. That's actually going to be a pretty big show next week. So please tell your friends about us, review us on iTunes, on what's now called Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, yeah.
Wherever you're listening to the podcast, it helps us out a lot. Everything else, that's it, right?
I think that's it.
All right. Until next time, stay spooky.
Good night.